Today, I'm sharing something a little different. A few months ago, I had the privilege of being a guest on the Heartfelt Healing Hub podcast with host Deanne. We sat down for a conversation about confidence, reinvention, self worth, and what it really means to come home to yourself. We talked about the pressure so many women carry, the importance of community, learning to receive instead of always giving, and why lasting change begins when we're willing to turn lens inward. I hope that as you listen, you find something that encourages you wherever you are in your own journey. If one part of this conversation resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you after the episode or in the comments. So, without further ado, here's my conversation with Deanne on the Heartfelt Healing Hub podcast. I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to the Heartful Healing Hub Podcast. I am Diane, your host, frequency intuitive and energetic healing guide, here to hold space for transformation through sound, energy, and sacred storytelling. You're listening to Healed and Whole, Stories of Remembering, a special series where I sit with women who've walked through deep health challenges and emerged transformed. These are conversations that are sacred, heart to heart, soul to soul, filled with truth, resilience, and the power of coming home to yourself. May these conversations inspire your own inner healer to awaken. Let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. Today, I am sitting with Lisa Taylor, and I am really thrilled to be having a conversation with her. But first, let me introduce you and read her bio. Lisa is a graduate of the University of Toronto and majored in English and history. She took a hiatus from her successful corporate career in business development, ending in 2017 when she stepped down as the sales leader and she launched a chapter of HUB Inc. in Durham region. You'll have to tell me what HUB is in a sec.
Sure.
And grew a thriving networking association that provided business support to female entrepreneurs. She also joined an online health and wellness brand, which she has been representing since 2016. In 2023, Lisa and her daughter founded a residential cleaning business in the Durham area, and in 2025 incorporated that business. Lisa returned to corporate sales in 2024 with an international manufacturer, and in 2026 started her podcast called Turn the Lens Inward and began coaching women to be more confident, supported by her brand Glowing Confidence. Welcome, madam. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Wonderful.
So yeah, we were just talking before what's going on today because it is the full moon. It's May 1st today for us as we're recording this on the full moon. So there's lots going on right now, I guess. And yeah. So the stage is yours, whatever you feel led to share with us or talk about. So
okay, well, first I'll answer your question about Hub Inc.
Yeah.
It stood for Heighten Your Business, and it was a part of a larger association, and there were little franchises all throughout the Greater Toronto area. So I started a chapter in my hometown of Durham region.
Okay.
And it was a way for me to I was stepping out of corporate, but I still wanted to be in business. And so that was supporting entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs that are local, and helping them to grow their business.
Oh, interesting. Super interesting.
Yeah. Okay. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. And it's so funny because my past in corporate was in HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning.
Oh, yeah.
It's mainly male dominated. So I was surrounded by guys all the time and a lot of male energy. And I think that's sort of the reason why I did the whole 180 over to supporting women, just to get more into my feminine. And I was not happy with the way things went in corporate. So I think it was a sort of a whole shift to supporting women. And I feel safer around women than I do around men.
Yeah. Funny that you say that, because I had kind of a somewhat similar path. Like when I was growing up, when I was younger, I never ever got along with girls, ever. I was always hanging out with the boys, playing football, climbing trees. And yeah, I had like one friend at a time that was female. And as I'm getting, older and hopefully wiser, I'm turning also to working with women and wanting to socialize with more women, and exactly like you said, uh, being more in touch with my feminine essence. So yeah, it's interesting that you say that.
I think there's been a shift for at least a decade where, women were at a point in the 40s, 50s where they were at home. They were starting to become more independent, starting to stand up for certain rights. And then we kind of were, okay, you want to work? Come out, work, do this, do that. And we were all in the workforce. And then we started rising and elevating in the workforce. And then, but at the same time, we're raising our kids, we're running the households, we're doing all the things. Most women, I'm going to say like 85% women, if you have a man who's sharing those duties back in the day, good on you, I think, right? But there's all these expectations for us to be these super women. And like I experienced burnout. I did. I was tired. I was burnt out. I was just fed up. Life was kicking me in the butt. So to move more into a feminine place of just being, slowing down and learning how to receive, it's changed everything for me. It's changed everything, because with that then comes opening up the concept of manifestation and still making plans and putting plans in place, but not being so set with the outcome, more the journey.
Yeah, no, it's super interesting. I mean, you talked about being able to receive as women, because I mean, from just being our nature is, well, for most of us anyway, I'm going to say 99% of us, we are very nurturing and giving. For us, it comes out naturally. Receiving, on the other hand, I don't know about you, but I have found it really difficult over the years to just receive without having this urge to give back. Or when you receive a compliment, or you feel like you have to return it right away. And it's like, no, you don't have to. You can just receive a compliment or receive a gift or something and just be grateful and not have to feel like you have to return it. So I don't know how has this been your experience as well?
Absolutely. It's a skill set. It's
Mhm.
it's overcoming a belief or a pattern or something that's been handed down to women, and recognizing, hey, like I can just, you give a man a compliment, what does he do? He says
Thanks.
thank you,
Yep.
right? But you give a woman a compliment and she starts like diminishing the thing that you're complimenting.
Yeah.
And it's just it's just ingrained in us. And I think that we act a lot of the times unconsciously without thinking. So in order to change something, you have to do it in a way so that you don't have to think about it. So it's continual. It's like forming a new habit, or reminding yourself, okay, so if someone gives me a compliment, to say thank you, maybe give them one back or whatever. But yeah, it's society is a mess, and
Yeah, just a little bit.
just a little bit, and we're just out here, failing, trying, succeeding, failing, trying, succeeding. Like it's just
Yeah,
what it is, and yeah. I'm glad
that's
that you
life.
had the same. I'm glad you had the same the same thing happen to you. You know, like it's nice to always hear, "Oh, I'm not the only one."
Yes, and that's a whole premise behind my podcast and this series. Is like, you're not the only one. I mean, there's other people that are going through exactly the same thing. So let's, building a community for me is super important. And I was watching a really quick lecture yesterday on Great Courses Plus, and it talked about, the fact that the in the US, I think it was a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, maybe now, that the Surgeon General, or somebody anyway important, said that loneliness was the one of the major killer, I guess, more than smoking like 15 cigarettes in a day. Because
Interesting.
yeah, and I'm like, yes, I mean, as humans, we are meant to be part of a community or a tribe. So um anyway, so that's kind of why, like, I'm just like doing this, and in the hopes that, like, you're not alone here. There's other
Yes.
people. Come join us, and come be with us. Come be part of our community and our tribe. And anyway.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Good. Good for you. Good on you for doing
Mm,
this. Yeah. That's interesting about the health thing, though, with the
yeah.
loneliness, because I've I've gone through. I mean, we all went through the pandemic, so that's another whole situation where we were alone,
Yeah.
a lot of us, and some of us had some really hard times with it. Some of us thrived. I thrived a little bit. I enjoyed the silence, but I'd been dealing with a problem that had been ongoing for a very long time with my daughter. And it was an opportunity for me to have a little bit of alone time and concentrate on myself. But I think a lot of us, as we're going through life, we want to up level a little bit, right?
Oh,
We
yeah.
want things to be better. We want life to be more joyful, more pleasant. And so we come up with concepts and ideas to maybe achieve that. And sometimes it requires you to no longer be the person you were, but to become the person that you want to be. And then there's that concept of you are the result of the 5 closest people to you.
Yeah.
So there comes a time where it's by choice to be alone and separate yourself from the pack if the pack isn't doing what's serving you or going where you want to go. So there can be different stages of loneliness. There can be loneliness where it's like you want it, you're choosing it. It's not necessarily fun, but you also have to step outside of your comfort zone and move forward to get into that new community. So where we're going from, here to here, and there's this huge dip before there's a rise, and it can be challenging when you're in that dip.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think that for me anyway, there's a difference. Like, I'm an introvert. I love my alone time. So you can be, and I'm sure you've heard this, and a million people have said it, that, you can be alone in a crowded room and still feel lonely.
Yes.
Or you could be, you know, alone yourself in your house and be perfectly good with that, because that's what you need. So there's different degrees of being alone. I think there's a difference between being alone and being lonely, anyway, to my experience.
I agree. And I think the lonely part of it one way to overcome that is to become comfortable with who you are. And so, I mean, I've gone through different stages of transformation and reinvention over my life. I'm 57, and not, I'm not the same person I was even 2 years ago, probably. And in order to do that, I had to learn, who really am I, and do I like myself? And the parts that I didn't like, I needed to face them, which is in itself not a fun experiment. And then figure out, okay, so how do I become the person that I love and want to spend time with? Because if I don't like myself, why would someone else like myself?
Yeah. Yeah, it is difficult. That's the conversation I was having yesterday with the other Lisa.
Oh, right,
I was
right.
talking with is exactly
It's the month
that.
of Lisas.
Love Lisas. Yeah, because we were talking about self-love, right? I mean, if you don't love yourself first, it really is challenging to expect other people to love you, because that's what you're reflecting. That's what you're putting out there is, oh, I don't love me. So, I mean, I'm not lovable. If you can't love yourself, like I said, it's you're projecting this, I'm not lovable out there. So you can't expect other people to love you.
Yeah. And it really is that my podcast is called Turning the Lens Inward.
Mm-hmm.
And I refer to it all the time and everything. It's turning that lens inward versus outwardly projecting on everybody else and everything else and all the excuses, and looking at the down and dirty, and it's here, and being able to tackle it, but at one step at a time, not overwhelmingly. I think that's how a lot of anxiety comes up in people, a lot of depression, and in leading towards other mental illnesses, that it's the whole self-shaming, self-loathing. I mean, I guess you guys talked about all this yesterday already, so we don't need to duplicate it, but yeah. Anyway, interestingly enough, I was at an event last night
Mm-hmm.
with about, I think there was 15 or so women in the room.
Nice.
We all had an opportunity to go around and talk about what we wanted to call in more of. And I listened intently, and there was everybody, almost every single person, except for one who, she's like a firecracker, and hers was she wanted to call in abundance, but everyone was calling in, trying to calm the chaos. And I found it interesting that we're still living in a time where, women from all over the place are still dealing with chaos and wanting to calm it. And I think you had some perspective around that before we started the recording.
Yeah. My question, like listening to you again, and I had time to think about it, because
Okay.
we talked about this, like a few minutes ago here, but like, was it the chaos within that they were wanting to calm, or was it the chaos that's around the world, or do you have an idea of what they were meaning?
I think it was chaos from society.
Okay.
I think it was from external sources, but there were some people who did reference in their mind. So maybe a bit of both.
Okay. Because like some people are more empath than others, so they would feel, the chaos that's going on around us. And sometimes it's just, immediate family that's happening, or sometimes, like we were talking about earlier as well, before we started the recording, that today's the full moon. So, that impacts people as much as, I don't know if everybody believes that, but I certainly do. And the police officers do, because they always have more people, on staff during the full moon. And then there's, as I said, some people are very empath, so they can feel everything that's going on around the world, not just in their little inner circle. So, and it does, I mean, unless you have ways to protect yourself somehow, it can be challenging to calm the chaos, even within, that is affected by, you don't even know where it's coming from. So,
Right. Yeah, you're right. It is an individual thing for sure. And there are frequencies and energies happening at different times of the month. And also with different types of personalities, for sure. Absolutely. That's what I love about coaching, is it's always individual and it's always just unique to that person. But then when you look at it from a larger perspective, it's typically always the same things. And a lot of it has to do with childhood traumas, not having enough self-worth, the belief patterns that we have going on. There's just so much. So
going back to your last night, your experience, what did something come out of that, or like, did you guys do anything about this?
I think what we did was we created a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
So not everybody felt comfortable. It was mediated and put on by a friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and she's an energy healer, and she makes jewelry. So I made this cute little crystal bracelet, and
Nice.
we learned about crystals and we learned about the energies, and then we went and we put it on. But not everyone was comfortable or knew that we were going to be going around the room speaking. And so a couple people had a challenge with that because they're not prepared. And so what I heard people around them say was, oh, this is a safe space. You're safe here. And I think that's really what women do in circle, in community, is allow others, bring them in and nurture and support them.
Yeah. I think that's why I'm finding, and I don't know if it's your experience, but I'm finding as I'm getting older, I want to be part of circles that are nurturing, that are, led by women, because I mean, love men, always have, but their energy and everything that, like it's a totally different feel, as I'm sure you know. So yeah, I want to be part of more of that. And I mean, I don't know if you do. Do you like drum circles? This is something I want to be part of at some point. I've not had the opportunity yet, but I would like it to be where there's mostly women, if not all women.
I have participated in a couple of drum circles.
Oh, I'm envious.
I know. So even though I'm very business oriented and come from corporate sales, and I'm in corporate sales now, I was blessed when I started this entrepreneurship, like female association, to attract to it a lot of soul type women. And I think that's because it was for small business owners, entrepreneurs, and they wanted to know, how do I take my business and make money from doing what I love to do, giving and serving, but yet still sustain a lifestyle, be able to pay my bills, and maybe even thrive a little bit. Yeah. And so I was lucky to have these women, and I found it fascinating because I really knew nothing. I knew nothing about energy or frequency or healing, or I'd never heard people talk about trauma. I'd never heard people talk about like just self-help, just doing, your own growth internally. So I got to be part of many, many different types of circles and communities. And I feel I've been really blessed. And I may not look like the typical kind of, woo-woo girl, but I really am. And then I went on and I got my Reiki certification. And I think when women come together and truly support one another and not tear each other down and empower one another, the world is going to be, hey, watch out, we are a force. And I would love for us to come together and unite and really claim that energy versus the tearing down, the mean girl thing, like what you said about when you were younger, you didn't really hang out with girls. I felt mean girl energy from what you were talking about. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I felt. And it exists. And they're themselves insecure and probably going through a lot that people don't know about. And that's their projection. That's how they retaliate. That's how and when women are jealous or envious about what other women have, there's also this terrible part of them that comes out. And so if we can work towards healing that as women together, I'm telling you, man, like, watch out, men, because we will be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
We're not taken seriously by men because of this, I think, because they look at women as emotional. I had this one coach, he's a pretty big guy in like the world. I wanted to coach with him so badly, and he helped me a lot. Then I heard him speaking about things and his real thought about women and this whole women as nurturers and raising the children. And he was like, I would never want a woman to be running the country. I would never want a woman to have access to that button because, she goes through cycles. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Women are the most irrational people in the world. They're not going to do something to destroy all of humankind because they're on their period today. Like, honestly, it was so bad. And I stopped following him. And I thought, if you're the future of men and what men think, then we as women really need to step it up. We need to change this.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on all this? Sorry, I went on a bit of a rampage.
No, that's perfectly all right. That's wonderful. I love what you said. My thought is like I said, I love men. Like they're great. I think that we complement each other. It's not a matter of who's better than who. There's a lot of complementary. Can I speak today? Complementary parts. So I don't believe that it has to be a competition. And yes, I mean, you were right about Mean Girls, and it's just, I don't know. I'm not sure what it is because I'm certainly not like that, at least not that I know of. But yeah, there's this competition, I guess, to have the boys' attention, and I don't know if that's what it is or if it's something else, but. Yeah, when I was growing up, it was like I was always the outcast, and that's why I went and hung out with the guys because it was much easier because they weren't backstabbers. But yeah, I think as we're growing older and as I mentioned earlier, wiser, hopefully, we are realizing that we need to come together. We need to have these circles and like take our nurturing values and everything that we bring to the table, if you want, and just stand there and we could be like with guys too, but it's just value ourselves and say, okay, I'm not this meek little person that you think I am. I have a voice and I have I'm not a second class citizen here. I've like you know, well, I brought my kids up. I mean, I didn't work for like several years because I was home raising my kids. So, and many women do that, but it doesn't mean that I'm just, you know, that's all I'm good for. And so, and as you talked about, you know, that like I was, when I was married to my children's father, he was into personal development, and I've learned a lot from him and other people. But what I found was most, well, if not all of the original um, personal development um, authors, I guess, or gurus were all men. So it was like, okay, but what about, you know, it's great, but what about a woman's perspective in there? And what, because we bring things to the table that men don't understand because we're built differently. And like I said, there's complementary here. So anyway, if that all makes sense.
Yeah. You're right about the personal development space, and it was very heavily male dominated. And that might be just because of this whole thing that men are more confident and they just do things, and they're adventurous. They push forward. They take steps. They move towards things. And women, it takes a certain something. Not every woman has it innately, but I think every woman has capability of it. And back then, like 2016, I was listening to Jen Sincero. You Are a Badass. I don't know if you ever read that book.
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's so good. So good. And then we've got more women now. You know, we've got like Mel Robbins, and there's tons and tons of influencers out there who are talking about things that are beneficial and helpful and making a difference in women's lives. And even just you and me, we're doing it on our small scale. So I think we need more women stepping up. We need more women taking big, huge, scary, audacious challenges, just going for it and not worrying about the outcome so much, and not worrying so much about what others are going to think about them. Because, I mean, that goes back to that whole thing about what you said, like, you said something like being mean, or about the mean girls.
Mm-hmm.
There was something in particular you said, but it's that, what are they going to say about me? What are they going to think about me? And they are not afraid to be mean. They're okay saying something terrible. Hey, don't know how to receive a compliment, but I'll be a backstabbing biatch like all day long to you, right? Gossiping, talking about people behind their backs, and it being an acceptable thing with other people. It's terrible, and it's not moving us forward. So really, these are big, huge conversations we're having about society and people, and what we feel would be the betterment of women and society versus staying where we are, staying small.
Yeah. And the funny part that I find here, and maybe it's because I'm not attracting, maybe because I'm attracting a different kind of people, different caliber, if you want, but I don't see any of these women anymore. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they've all changed, they've all grown, they've all become wiser. But like the women that I've been chatting with on this podcast here, and everybody that I talk to that are, you know, in our age range anyway, they are, for the most part, like you and I, they're not trying to be better, and it's not a competition. we're coming together now. Everybody wants to come together and be and do more for each other. So I don't know if it's been your experience, but
Well, I would say that's probably because of your frequency. You know,
yeah, for sure.
you attract what you are.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting it out there. You're literally on like whatever this kind of frequency is of a podcast, emitting it out there. So you're going to attract it. Absolutely. I'm in many, many different circles. I have work circles. I play sports. I play baseball. I play pickleball. Oh my gosh. I've got just friends in general. I've got networking friends, and they're all different. They're all different. So it's not about what I'm putting out. It's more about what we're doing in those circles. And I still find in some of them, there is cattiness still going on. There is still gossiping. There is still, and again, this is what came to mind when I heard the people talking about calm the chaos. We can only control what we can control. And what we can control is us. And that's it, man. Like, you can't control anybody or anything. You can only control you. So for me, I don't like to do the gossiping and the talking about. I'm a very straight shooter. People talk to me all the time about how they used to use the term blunt, and then I kind of try to tone it down a little bit. But I'm very truthful and honest, and usually what you see is what you get. And I don't want to talk about drama and crap like that. And they don't do it with me. They just don't do it with me. They know Lisa's not about it, so she's not going to do it. But they still do it. Maybe they enjoy it. Maybe it's a part of, I mean, we all have a level of comfort. And then we all have a level of uncomfort. And as humans, we're designed to remain in comfort. And that's our ego keeping us, comfortable with whatever it is, even if it's bad for us.
Yeah.
We'll stay in that zone. And women typically are not really known for stepping outside that comfort zone. I'm going to say the percentage of people who do is a lot smaller than the people who don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay for wherever you are and whoever you are and what and how you want to be, what you want out of life. But if you're not comfortable, if you don't like how your life is, I didn't like how my life was. We've had conversations about all the things that you've gone through with your life and the changes that you had to make for your health.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to stop doing what you're doing now and do something different. So talking about other people for your entertainment and your pleasure, it's just legit wrong. And I think people have to stop doing it.
Well, it's not bringing anything positive or anything good into anybody's life.
But they might not recognize that.
Oh, that's very true.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't recognize. I mean, my own mother, she was a gossiper. And she used to call me up and ask me a whole ton of questions, and I would just avoid them because I'm like, and in the end, I was like, well, I'm not telling you anything because you're just going to turn around and tell everybody all my problems.
Yeah.
So why would I? I can't trust you with my information. As soon as you tell one other single person something, it is out there and it is not protected, and anybody can find out about it.
Yeah.
And didn't we talk in the beginning about trusting people?
We may have. That was like 37 minutes ago.
You want to be able to trust the people that
absolutely
are in your circle. And I mean, we make mistakes as humans. We might say something in a moment of not understanding how important it was to somebody else, but I don't know. There's so much we need to do and change as a society.
Mm-hmm.
It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, but that's what we're doing here. Like
Mm-hmm.
one little, pebble dropped in the pond and it just ripples out. So that's what I'm doing here. That's what you're doing with your podcast. So we are doing this, and just the conversation we're having now, it just, you know, elevating the vibration of the earth, and then just sending out good. We're talking about energy, sending out all the good energy and the good vibe out there. So it may not seem like we're doing anything, but I know we are.
I love that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, um, it's been an amazing conversation. I'm loving this. I don't want it to end.
Sort of gone all over the place, eh?
I know, right? That's awesome. Any last words of wisdom you would like to share?
I mean, I think if you're going through something in life and you want to change it, it first starts with maybe talking about it with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I had a woman who reached out to me this morning from my Facebook, and all I did was I wished her a happy birthday yesterday. And she said, thank you. And I just said, did you have a good day? And she said, yeah, I did. And then she said all these things, nice things about, I motivate her and all these great things. And I was like, we should have a conversation. And she's like, well, I don't want to scare you off. And I thought, okay, well, obviously you need to have a conversation with somebody. So we started off talking about loneliness being a bigger killer than cigarettes. So if you're lonely and you're going through something, reach out to somebody. Sometimes it could be that stranger who's on social media saying, hey, DM me, because that person is putting something out into the world, like what you just said, to try to make a change because they care about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they care about you, and they want to make change in the world. And like me, I've gone through hell and back. You've gone through hell and back, and we survived. And I didn't even tell my story, but if you want to follow me, you can on my podcast. You'll hear all about it in the first episode. But now we want to give back.
Yeah.
Because we prove to ourselves that we can overcome it, and you can too. And why wouldn't we want to help somebody else go through that? So just start.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right. And thank you for your words of wisdom. I'm so glad that grateful that you've taken the time to chat with me today.
Yeah, it was lovely. Thank you for asking. I love that we're also in a community of podcasters where we can go on each other's shows and give that value and raise that vibe. I love that.
Yes.
And now we're friends, and I see you living your life, and you've been commenting on some of the things that I do. So it just takes one little action.
Yeah, it does.
Everything.
And that's what I said earlier. It's not always, and that goes for everything in life, but it's not always the big things that are making the most difference. It's the little daily things, we haven't talked about this, but that 1%, I'm sure you've heard that, like you just change something 1% every day, you're going to end up somewhere totally different.
Yep.
So, all these little things, they make a huge difference.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Again, thank you so much for your time. I'm greatly appreciate you being here and our conversation, and we'll have to chat again soon.
Yeah, I'd love that.
All right.
Thank you for spending time with us inside the Heartful Healing Hub. If this story moved you, please consider sharing this episode or leaving a comment. Your words help others find this sacred space. If you or someone you love has a healing journey to share, We'd love to hear from you. And finally, if you would enjoy a gentle way to unwind after listening, visit the show notes to download your free tea ritual guide, Sip and Soften, a soul-soothing gift to nourish your inner healer. Until next time, be kind to yourself and trust what has always been within you. And remember, you are whole, you are healing, you are home.
If this conversation resonated with you, I want you to remember one thing. Lasting change doesn't begin by changing everyone around you. It begins when you're willing to turn the lens inward. That's where confidence grows. That's where healing begins. And that's where reinvention becomes possible. So, if you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start creating a life that truly feels like yours, I'd love to help you. You can connect with me through the links in the show notes, book a one-on-one coaching call, or simply reach out and say hello. I love hearing from you. And if you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you'd follow the podcast and leave a review. It helps more women discover these conversations and reminds them that they're not alone. Until next time, keep turning the lens inward because the life you're looking for starts with a woman looking back at you in the mirror.